YouTube, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, TKK. We're back with another video. Thanks for the support. Let me just open this video up by saying I do still have an LG C1 OLED, 77 inch. I feel like I get asked, do I have this TV still, or do I still have a C1 at least 3 times a week within the various different videos and the comments that come up often. And I just read a comment that asked me if I still had this TV right before this video I started shooting. So that's why I am leading with this. Yes, very much so do have that TV. Love it. Don't plan on getting rid of the 77 C1. Today's video is going to be a little different though. We're going to be talking about the HDTVTest comparison that was recently done a couple of days ago by Vincent. Very, very educational. That dude is so damn strong and I respect him so much. I aspire to be that great one day with TV technology. So he recently on his channel pretty much summarized everything that you would need to know between the S95B from Samsung and the A95K from Sony. Now, towards the end of that video, because I'm not going to spend my entire video reciting what he said, he pretty much summarized it. Like, all you need to know is like at the end of the video, pretty much if you want one for this or you want one from that. We're going to be talking about that as well as my A90K. I got this TV in 48 inch. Amazing TV. We're going to get right into that right after this intro. Welcome back to the channel. So the first talking point I want to have is going to be about my TV, the A90K. And first things first, shout out to my young homie, Ankle Breaker. That's her alias I gave her. She's doing her thing, streaming, getting into the YouTube content creating. I don't really pair it with a lot of people on YouTube. But if I know somebody personally, I like to make sure that I am showing some support. So in the description of this video, I am going to tag her YouTube. She's trying to get her foot into content creating. And I know how hard it is to get out there, but I told you, homie, I will put you on the stream. So just wanted to get you out there. So A90K, this TV is manufactured in 2 sizes, 48 inch, which is what I have, in the 42 class also. Let me just start by saying this is the best 48 inch, 50 inch that you can get, my personal opinion. Please, if it's up for debate, if you got an offering that you think is better, go ahead and talk to me about it. The reason I love this TV, and by the way, recently I put in about 3 to 4 hours of fighting games on this. So playing a competitive esport game, man, it just performs really, really well. So although I kind of had in my mind that the input latency, you know, from Sony would be bad because it's not as low as the LG or the Samsung S95B, I was all wrong. I'm telling you, it plays really nice and fluid. What I like most about it is the pictures just look really good, man. The colors pop really well. You're going to have all the opportunities that you'll have with OLED. In a second, you'll see this thing will dim. But when playing a game, it's pretty nice, man. It looks really good. The colors are so nice. I got this thing, I built my base off of like a Warm 2 equivalent, and I just go from there. I try to make it look as cinematic as possible. Now, keeping in mind, I personally bought this monitor for me to be able to do some content creating. If I want to get into some photography and just shooting things, I just want to be able to have as much as a realistic representation of, you know, what it is that I shot, as well as my videos. They're pretty simplistic right now, but I do want to get off into something more creative. I do want to learn how to direct and shoot some different things. And so even though this isn't necessarily a reference monitor, you know, for my standards, I just wanted to get like the best quality of this size that I could get. Now, if you've been following the channel in a while, back in February of this year, we're in 22, I purchased 2 48 inch C1s. I actually had them in this room. Maybe I'll card in a video, I'm not sure. Bought the one, the following week bought the second one. So I absolutely love the C1. In my opinion, it is the greatest TV of all time right now. In my opinion, it just offers the overall best, just because it's still a product that's sold. You can get it at a great price. However, the C2, which is now available, I have it in 55 inch. We bought that twice. The 48 inch, the 42 class of it, not really a big impressive jump over the C1. That's why I'm just saying the C1 is so darn good. The C2 doesn't give you enough in that class. To me, you really got to go to the 55, which is bigger than this. So my opinion, I feel like Sony did a great job taking their last year flagship title of the A90J and transforming it into a 48 class television. This is like in a league of its own. And this size, you can't get anything that's going to look as good as it. You just can't. I'm sorry. There's nothing, right? There's some 43-inch monitors from Asus and such. Nothing is going to look this good and perform this well and give you this level of picture quality. So I really do like this TV. For those of you that keep asking me, keep on asking the questions because I'm going to keep answering them. But I feel like I wanted to put something out there. After playing multiple hours of games on this thing, it's just phenomenal. So we'll cut here. If you got questions, ask them. But we're going to start talking about what I wanted to talk about, and I said I was going to talk about in the beginning of the video. All right, so this is kind of a weird orientation that I'm in right now, because typically when I'm sitting doing like podcast style video, when I'm just talking to you guys from the desk, I've normally got it set up on OBS. I decided not to do that so I wouldn't have to pull a different type of quality file at a higher frame rate. OBS is set at 4K 60. My camera natively records 4K 30. So I'm not able to see myself, but hopefully I've got things aligned and you guys can hear me. And this part of the video is really what I wanted to focus on. Hence the title is pretty much just like replying to what Vincent's video did. And so without saying everything he said, what I want to do is just take a time and, you know, just talk about like, you know, what I gathered from it. So pretty much in my research, the way that I've been studying the photo quality of these TVs this year, I've been pretty much using the A90K and the Samsung S95B. And in between those two, I pretty much had this thought in my mind that the A95K from Sony is pretty much like the merge between the two, because this TV offers, this A90K, it offers me a level of picture quality that I just hadn't seen from anything else in 2022. Now, mind you, I have not owned a G1 or a G2, owning the C1 3 times, both the larger panel as well as the two smaller panels, and then jumping to the 55 class C2 this year. This still offered me a picture quality that I personally feel like is better. And I know some of you guys might say, well, it's because the panel is smaller. But again, guys, I did have two 71s, two 48 class C1s. And so the image just wasn't as tight, not nearly as tight as what I've come to see with this particular panel. The colors have just been, they've been really good to me. I've just not been disappointed at all with anything that I've seen from a picture quality perspective. And it's just opened up my eyes to what many people have been telling me is just the picture processing with the Sony. And it's done really well. It's done so well that I think motion actually is handled very, very good too, which is shocking to me, because going into, you know, the A95K, my concern was the input latency. I was one of those guys that was just like, well, if it's going to be like 16 milliseconds, you know, we were there like 4 years ago, 5 years ago. But understanding that I don't think most people that play games at a, let's say, a semi-professional level, let's just say you're like a hustler on the side, you know what I mean? You might play a game, bet somebody. I don't think most people are going to be, you know, using a 55, 65 class S95B to do that. You know, it's just not, it's not going to be that common. Okay. Most people, in fact, that I see that even have the TV, they're not even really using it with PCs, even though you can do 144 hertz, which I personally don't like on the TV. I've made content talking about it, you know, in the bugs that I've noticed. I've had people rebuttal and argue me about it and talk to me as if I don't know what I'm talking about with computing. But, you know, I'm my own guy, I'm my own man, I buy my own stuff, and I know what I'm talking about. But what I'm trying to say is that, you know, in these comparisons that Vincent were doing, you know, he spoke about a lot of intelligent things, the heat sink, the quality of build. There was just so many things that he lined up that the S95B does not have that the A95K does. And ultimately, the biggest argument for people that like to argue TVs, I'm not one of them. Buy them all if I like them all. If I can afford them all, I'm going to get what I want to get so that I don't have the buyer's remorse of getting the model that I could have gotten. I'm going to get what I want to get. It's the reason I don't own a gallery. But anyway, I digress. The point is, there's a lot more pros on the Sony side than there are the Samsung. Now, I think the biggest issue for people the biggest hang up for people is going to be two things. Number one, the tax, which again, you eliminate the tax once you factor in the quality. The quality is what you're paying for. You're not paying for the name. This is not that. If you were paying more for a name, it would be Samsung. You are paying more for the quality of build. Now, some people will say there's not enough better there. No, listen, the moment you say that, you realize that you have completely went back on the exact same argument that you had with the S95B versus the G2, the C2. You know, people argued and made great debates when those LG TVs came out before the Samsung 95B, and they were saying the same thing. For the affordability piece, these TVs are good enough. It's exactly why I bought a C2. So I'd rather pay more personally and know that I'm getting the best TV, okay? Are there things I don't like about what Sony has to offer? Yes. What are they? Okay. I wish that the input latency was lower, but for me, guess what? The TV is going to be in my bedroom. Also, I'm playing on an Alpha 90K competitive games. I'm able to hit one frame link combos. It's not a problem. It's not a problem for a TV standard. So the comments that I see where guys are like, oh, well, it's not 5 milliseconds. Please knock it off. Knock it off, man. Also, it's going to be a bedroom TV, as I just said. So I'm looking for the best photo quality, okay? My current room situation has some natural light, got some colorful, like not blackouts, but thicker curtains. But if I want to have them curtains open, cool. That TV is going to be able to offset the light, show me a beautiful picture, and that's just what I want. So things like only 2 HDMI ports that are 2.1, not going to be that big a deal for me because I'm probably not even going to have a console or anything hooked up to the TV. It's just going to be a Fire Stick for me to run Plex, and it's just going to all be about movie picture quality. Now, for me, this is going to be a TV that I'm not looking to invest in upgrading. So 2023 Quantum Dot, I'm not looking for it. I'm not going to be looking for it, guys. It's just not something that I'm going to be doing. My personal favorite brand of TVs is LG. I will be looking for the 23C or G model from LG, preferably a larger size than 77 class, but I'm not going to be checking for a bigger quantum dot. So again, go ahead and reference that video. Very good talking point. I doubt it if you've seen my content that you haven't seen his content because we're in the same category. I'm the smaller fish, but I do really respect the man's level of being a perfectionist. And in my own regards, I try to do the same thing. It's just that I don't have the same skill set that he does, but I definitely have the resources to get my hands on the same type of technology, obviously. So I am awaiting that TV. It's going to replace my 65 class C9, which I do love, but going to be donating that to another home somewhere, and I can't wait to get it. So let me know if you guys have any questions about this video. Please, I like these videos to be discussional, so offer up your talking points. Tell me why you would go one over the next. If it's cost, I respect it. I totally get it. If it's cost, it's more money, but as I always say, man, if it means saving a little bit longer, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, get what you want to get so that you don't have buyer's remorse, so that you don't feel like, dang, I wish I would have just waited and got X, Y, and Z. That's how I work, guys. I make my plans, I attack what I want to get, and I feel happy at the end. That's all for this video. Thanks for the support. Leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Max love.